Hello and welcome back to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audiofiction. This is the series The Truth Behind the Lie, and it's written by Sheikah, narrated by Dawn myself. Hello! And this is for Sheikah's Wednesday, and I know it's a day late, but there we go. And this is part 14, so I hope you're enjoying it so far. Make sure you go and send Sheikah some love. All her information is down below. Make sure you send me some love by smashing that like button. Comment down below what you think of this part and what will happen in the next one, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on future parts and other series that are happening and other one-shots to come. And I hope you enjoy. Part 14. Adrien was just finishing up his piano practice before sneaking out to visit Marinette as Cat when a knock came at his door. "Come in," he called. Natalie entered with her ever-present tablet. "Adrien, your father has arranged a last-minute photo shoot for you for tomorrow at lunch. Maurice will pick you up at school and take you directly to the shoot location. Your after-school activities have been cancelled in case the shoot runs long." He frowned. It wouldn't be the first time his father had done a random photo shoot, but so close to the last one. "I just had the spring formal shoot over the weekend. Why another one so soon?" Natalie adjusted her glasses on the bridge of her nose, one of the few gestures she made that gave any indication of her state of mind. She was uncomfortable. "While the pictures you took with Miss Dupang Chang were more than satisfactory, your father feels we need to move forward from the media leak as soon as possible." "So, is Marinette doing it with me?" he asked with a sudden smile. He could deal with anything if she was with him. She consulted a tablet. "No. Your father has arranged for you to work with Miss Rossi, since the new spring casual line is not as aesthetically demanding." "But why not Marinette? You said she did a good job." "She did, but the rumours at your school have come to your father's attention, and he wants to cut her out before things get any worse. You know your father's opinion about scandals, Adrien." He rolled his eyes. "To be avoided at all cost, yes, I know. But you sent the drug test results to Mr. Damocles this afternoon. You know that Marinette tested clean for everything." "Yes, but the rumour mill will not be silenced for something like that. Miss Dupang Chang will be compensated for her time and effort, but she will not be back." "Natalie, the only thing Marinette is guilty of is being more beautiful than Lila. Lila started those rumours trying to get her into trouble at school. She would never do anything like that." She sighed. "I'm sorry, Adrien, but your father has made up his mind. You will be shooting with Lila tomorrow. Is that understood?" He slumped on the piano bench. "Yes, I understand." Natalie turned to go, but stopped in the doorway. "I'm sorry about your friend, Adrien. Your father is just trying to look out for you." "I know," he grumbled. "Good night." As soon as her footsteps receded down the hallway, he slammed his hands against the keys in a violent introduction to Rage Over a Lost Penny. It completely slumped into his feelings at that moment. It was like 100 of tiny darts were being thrown at him and Marinette, each too tiny to do any damage by itself, but when they put together, they could be their downfall. Was this what Marinette was going through? Had she been going through all this time? The sights, the rumours, the innuendos, the dirt being cast at her so that even though she knew the truth, couldn't trust her. He seethed, taking out his anger in music until his fingers ached from the impact. When the last note rang out in his canvas room, Plag hovered to see the view, his ears still twitching from the noise. "You okay, kid?" "It's not fair, Plag." His little friend patted his hand awkwardly with a paw. "No one ever said it would be, Adrien. Marinette doesn't deserve this." "Of course she doesn't.
Pigtails is the best of the lot. She cares about you, kid. She's good for you.
Yeah, he groaned. But what kind of hero am I if I can't even help Marinette? She's important to me, but I don't even know if what I've tried has helped. What if I've made things worse?
Hey, even if your plan isn't working out the way you hoped, you still have been there for her, right? You're making sure Lila doesn't corner her again, and you're keeping her from feeling alone.
But even Mr. Damocles didn't seem ready to believe us without proof. The same as Alya.
You, but you still haven't told me about that almost kiss outside the office this afternoon,
Plag said in a teasing tone. Adrien blushed, rubbing the back of his neck.
Don't deny it, kid. Shirt pocket, remember?
Fine. I wanted to kiss her, okay? I've wanted to kiss her for day one, but she's in love with a buttercup, and this is all just a plan to get Lila caught in her lies. She doesn't know that I'm falling in love with her, but I won't lose her, Plag. I can't use her like that. Marinette is too important to me. I can't risk pushing her away too. His Kwame crossed his paws and sighed.
Why don't you go and talk to her like you planned?
I'm not sure that would be a good idea, buddy, he said, raking his fingers through his hair. I mean, I really want to see her. Marinette cares about both sides of me. That birthday party? The way she stood up to Lila today. He felt his chest tighten pleasantly at the memory. It's just might be hard to keep Cat from showing those feelings more than he should. Taking out his phone, he looked at his lock screen and the picture of him and Marinette. She looked so happy with her eyes shining up at him and her arm curled so sweetly around his. His chest ached again. Oh, how he longed to be with her, to feel her hand in his, for her to lean against him, to breathe in the scent of almonds and cherries. He thought back to the photo shoot and flipped through his Marinette album until he found the picture he was thinking of. The golden light of sunset was filtering through the cherry blossoms and sparkled off her dress. Their lips were almost touching as he held her close, but she pulled herself in by his lapels. He heaved a shuddering sigh. Yeah, visiting her as Cat Noir was not the best thing to do right now. Not when all he wanted to do was kiss her, hold her, and feel like he wanted and hold her once more. Just then, there was an incoming video call. His heart leapt to see that it was from Marinette. Hey, Adrien, she said, waving awkwardly at the screen. Hey, Marinette, I was just thinking about you. Not that he would tell her that he had been thinking about her exactly. How you doing? Anything happen after I left today? No, just homework. She made a face and rolled her eyes. I might need you to explain the physics stuff to me. It just keeps blurring together in my head. He chuckled. Yeah, I can understand that. I'll be happy to help. Do you want to do it over the phone? She looked nervous for a moment. Actually, I thought we might want to conference call with Luke and Kagami. Let them know what happened today. That's a great idea. And we can find out if they managed to get in touch with Jagged Stone or Lila's mother. It took a few minutes, but soon the other two joined the call. How are things going, guys? Luca asked with a smile. Yes. How does the battle? Kagami put in. Well, Lila is stepping up her game, Adrien remarked dryly. First, she had this video of Marinette giving Cat Noir a hug on her balcony, and now she's spreading rumours that Marinette is taking drugs. There's a loud clatter and a discordant twang as Luca dropped his guitar. Kagami's mouth started a series of angry contortions until she managed to pull herself back up under tight control. "That's not the worst part," Marinette said angrily, her eyes bearing that diamond-hard stare once more. "She threatened Adrien and said that she would call his father and have him pulled out of school in disgrace to hurt me, unless he started dating her and only modeling with her. And she tried to climb all over him." 3 frowns stared back at him. "I'll slice her into ribbons," Kagami stated in a tone that broke no argument. Adrien chuckled, startling the other 3 from the anger. "Thanks, Kagami, but Marinette already threatened to do that." Both eyebrows disappeared into their hair. "Really? Well done, Marinette." "Yeah, you should have seen it. She jerked Lila away from me and threatened to cut her clothes off with her sewing scissors. Marinette was awesome." Marinette blushed and both Kagami and Luca smirked at their screens. "Come to think of it, there was something about this that bothered me," Marinette said, suddenly thoughtful. "What is it, Marinette?" Luca asked. "Yeah," Adrien answered, feeling a little on edge that Luca was getting in between him and his girlfriend. Well, fake girlfriend. "Did we miss something?" She nodded, frowning. "I don't know for sure. Lila has been kumatized twice when she felt embarrassed or humiliated. Why hasn't she been now?" They all sat silently for a moment. "Speaking as someone who's been akumatized twice myself," Luca said softly, "it happens when you feel you have no other option, like the world is against you and you have to give in, otherwise you'll just be swept aside or crushed. Like when I was angry at Roth for stealing your designs, Marinette." "And your music," she said sadly, looking to one side. "You have a valid point, Luca," Kagami added. "When I was akumatized, it was because I either felt I failed or because I was heartbroken." Adrien swallowed hard. Kagami's last 2 akumatizations had been because of him, directly or indirectly. He knew they had moved past it, but the thought still left an aching hollow in his stomach. He had failed her as a friend and as a boyfriend. Would he fail Marinette too? Would she be akumatized if he couldn't keep her safe from Lila's schemes? The thought made him feel sick. "Well, broken hearts aren't hard to come by," Marinette said, sighing wistfully. "And I should have thought it through before I confronted Lila this afternoon." "You may be our everyday ladybug, Marinette, but that doesn't mean you aren't human too," he said comfortingly, wishing he could be there to give her a hug and trying to ease the sadness from her eyes. "Even heroes make mistakes, but standing up to Lila isn't one of them." Both Kagami and Luca nodded. As they were Ruku and Viperian, they would know all too well. "Standing up for yourself and others isn't wrong, Marinette," Luca soothed. "On the contrary, it is of utmost importance and honor," Kagami said. "You have tried taking the high road, and it has only ended in defeat. It is past time to cut to the heart of the matter." "You're right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it," Marinette said hurriedly, rubbing her eyes and putting on a bright smile. "So the fact that Lila hasn't been akumatized yet might mean she has something more up her sleeve?" "More than accusing you of cheating on me with Cat Noir and that you're taking drugs at school?" Adrien asked, shocked. What could be worse than someone's reputation than that? Luca suddenly glowered at the screen. "Wait. Lila accused Marinette of dating Cat Noir behind your back, Adrien." Something in the tone of his voice made him tense, and if he had been Cat, his hackles would have raised. Yeah." "That's no big deal, Luca," Marinette said with a laugh. "Cat is a friend to both of us, and he cleared it up with Alya straight away once we found out the photoshoot pictures went viral." I see. For some reason, the narrowed eyes seemed to be staring at him and him alone. Well, I guess it's good that you two have such a good friend. Adrien gulped nervously while Kagami and Luca sniggered, as if they were in on some joke that he was excluded from. His only consolation was that Marinette flushed a deep red and glared at the screen. "Cut it out, you two," she said sharply. "It's only funny if everyone is in on the joke." They stopped abruptly, though neither looked embarrassed. Thanks, Marinette," Adrien murmured, rubbing the back of his neck. "No problem. So, any news on your side of things, guys?" she asked, clearly keen to change the subject. "Well, I got hold of Dad," Luca said. "He says he doesn't know anyone named Lila, and Penny said that she would have remembered if he hadn't. And he never had a cat. I even showed him the picture you sent me of her with Adrien to double-check, Marinette." Adrien flinched at that. It reminded him of the time Kagami was akumatized into Oni-shan and went after Lila for stealing a kiss from him while taking a picture and then sending it to all of his friends. And then again, when she found out he had lied about going back to find his Marinette Lucky Charm when he had to bail on her to save Paris as Cat Noir. A ball of guilt formed in his throat. Could he ever hurt Marinette that way? Would he one day have to lie to her about why he couldn't be there when she needed him because he had to sneak off to battle Akumas? Would he one day see that beautiful smile and those expressive eyes twisted with rage and turn against him? How could he ever explain to Ladybug that it had been his fault? Suddenly a message popped up on his phone, separate from the call. Kagami. "Don't blame yourself, Adrien. I chose to dwell on the things that angered or hurt me. You could have handled things better, and it hurt, but it was not entirely your fault." Another message popped up, this time from Marinette. "My sweet, are you okay, Adrien? You look sad. I didn't want to say anything in front of the others in case I was wrong, but I'm here for you." That's right. These three could read him in ways no one else could. He had to pull himself together. Guys, that kind of reminds me. Father has scheduled a photo shoot for tomorrow afternoon. I'll have to leave at lunch and I have to shoot with Lila." He sighed and rubbed the back of his neck. "Natalie says it's to get ahead of the drug rumor, Marinette. I reminded her that she knew the rumors were false because she had sent your test results to Mr. Damocles, but it didn't do any good. I'm so sorry, Marinette." "I was expecting something like this, Adrien, and what with the way your father acts towards you, well, let's just say that I'm not surprised." She smiled softly and gave a cute, one-sided shrug. "It was fun while it lasted." "I did finally manage to contact Lila's mother at the Italian embassy," Kagami commented. "She won't be much help, I'm afraid. She believes everything Lila tells her, and when I told her about the bullying and the lying charges, she acted as if Lila was the one being bullied. The poor woman is more blind than my mother." "Well, at least Jagged's on our side," Adrien chimed in, trying to find the bright spot in all of this. "Yeah, Marinette. Dad offered to help in any way he can. He practically thinks of you as family." "That's really sweet of him. And you, Luca. Thank you," Marinette replied with a grateful smile. Adrien bit his tongue to keep from saying the wrong thing. Luca was just trying to help, and he had been flirting with Kagami last time. Why did he feel upset? Angry? Jealous? Was he jealous of Luca? Was it because of how open Luca could be with his feelings? How easily Marinette accepted them? Whatever it was, he had a strong desire to hang up on them and run across the rooftops to steal Marinette away. He fought the impulse. It wasn't right to take out his frustrations on Luca. After all, he had made his bed and now he had slept in it. We should be going, Kagami said with a sideways smirk to her mouth. I need to get ready. Yeah, see you in a bit, Kagami, Lucas said with a wide grin. They both logged off, leaving the two of them staring bug-eyed at the screen. Did she? Are they going on a date? Marinette stammered. Adrien chuckled. Well, you know Kagami. She always fights for what she wants. And Luca didn't oppose being gotten. They both stared awkwardly at anything but the screen for a moment, and then she blurted out, Want to come over? Just to come over, not for planning or anything. Her nervous words warmed his heart. I would love to, Marinette, but I would have to sneak out, and I probably shouldn't try it tonight. Oh. Her voice was soft and sad that he wanted to run to her tight and then cradle her in his arms, run his fingers through her hair and tell her stupid jokes. Anything to see her smile. But I can stay on here with you for as long as you like, he added quickly. It's not like it's the first time we've hung out via Facetime. She smiled. Like the time we went to watch the World Cup fireworks from the Ferris wheel? He grinned. Yeah, I just wish we hadn't been interrupted. She snorted. That's the story of my life. If something doesn't interrupt me, then I end up interrupting myself. He chuckled. Yeah, happens to me all the time too. Like this afternoon when he had leaned in to kiss her and was cut off by the bell. Oh. I would have gladly catalysmed the stupid thing. Forget that. I would have catalysmed it, had Ladybug fix it, and then do it again. I was really wishing you could come, she said. I miss you. Could she really mean it? Even after spending most of the day together at school, she missed him? He smiled and his heart pounded loud enough that he wondered if the phone microphone could pick it up. I miss you too, my sweet. I could really use one of your hugs right now. She blushed prettily and bit her lower lip in a way that she had made him squirm because he couldn't kiss her. Not that he should be kissing her, but oh, he really, really wanted to. An idea struck him. Well, since I can't come to you and you don't have any army assailing the fortress my father calls a home, she giggled at his silliness, and it made him grin all the wider. How about I serenade my sweet Marinette so she doesn't feel lonely while her prince is away from her side? She rolled her eyes, but her blush deepened. You've been hanging around Cat too much. He leaned in closer to the camera and wriggled his eyebrows, thrilled when her laugh rang out from the speakers. I would love that, Adrien. He rarely played for an audience, or at least an audience he really wanted to impress, and he suddenly found he was nervous. Setting his phone down on the music stand so that she could see him, he stretched his fingers and then shook his hands to release any tension. He was really stalling, and Plagg knew this, for he quickly flew over and laid a piece of sheet music out of sight of the camera. He glanced at the title. Perfect. Taking a deep breath, he started to play Schubert's Serenade. The mixture of minor and major chords gave a sense of longing. Adrien didn't say, but this song had words. It was meant to be a plea from a man who loved a maid so much that nature itself took his side in begging her to make him happy. The occasional flutting notes sounded like the nightingales of the poem, singing of how dear she was to him and how he longed to tell her how he felt. But without his mask, Adrien had nothing to defend his fragile heart. Maybe if he showed her, she would understand. Marinette was the only one in his life who really saw him, cared about all of him. Surely she would see his heart and understand. As the last notes died away, he saw her sniff and wipe her eyes. That was beautiful, Adrien. Thank you. I've only ever heard you play with kitty section. You're great at it, but this... She wiped her eyes again. You're amazing. He blushed. Thanks, Marinette. That means a lot. So, how about we do our homework together? Yeah, I could definitely use the help. So they attacked the physics homework, Adrien helping her work through the problems that had her so frustrated. She really wasn't bad at it. She just seemed like she was used to feeling her way through subjects instead of following formula. This is more like when you designed the costumes for kitty section, he said, scrambling for something she could relate to what would explain what he meant. You had a similar design element, but all the performers were different sizes. Something designed for Rose wouldn't work for Iron, right? She giggled. Yeah, it would explode off him if he ever tried it. He chuckled. Precisely. So you would use maths to convert one size to another, see? Things finally started clicking after that, and they wrapped up the homework in record time. I guess you need to go, she said, disappointment heavy in her voice. No, not really. He sighed and rubbed the back of his neck. I wish I could come over, or you could sneak in here. We would play video games or something. Even though he was talking to her, hearing her voice, he felt pretty lonely, as if he was going through Marinette's withdrawal. I have an idea. How about we each get ready for bed and then you can call me back and we'll talk until we fall asleep? Kind of like a sleepover? He shot her a crooked grin. It's not the same though, is it? Remember, I wouldn't know what a real one is like. She grinned. Leave that up to me. Okay, I trust you, Marinette. 10 minutes later, he called her back only to find her in her pink and white pajamas under a pink blanket. There are some things that don't translate to a virtual sleepover very well, like the snacks or movie or popcorn fight, but we can hide under the covers and tell secrets or jokes or ask each other silly questions if you like. That's what Alya and I used to do. She dropped her head and her shoulders slumped. Never mind. This was probably a stupid idea. No, Marinette, he exclaimed, crawling into bed and hiding into the covers. It sounds amazing. I would love to do that, and I'm sure that you and Alya will do this again soon. She sniffled. Do you really think so? Yeah, I do. She wiped her eyes. Well, where would you like to start? Probably not with secrets. I mean, 90% of my life is one big show that anyone could know about. Not much there to be secret about. Except for being Cat Noir, but he couldn't tell her that, and his heart pounded wildly at the very thought. Would she be happy her hero was her friend? Would she ever forgive his foolish rejection? She dropped her phone onto something and swiveled onto her stomach. There, all comfy. There is more to you than what shows up in your pictures, Adrien. Now I can see why you might think that way. You are kind of reserved around people, but I can still see how different it is with your friends. Like the hugging, I guess. Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and you're right. I may have people touch me a lot for modelling. Well, you got a taste of that on Saturday, but it isn't the same as a hug from someone who cares about me. You can tell me anything, you know, she murmured shyly, the white light of her phone making her blush on her cheeks stand out like a rose in a field of lilies. If you want to, I mean. Like what? He chuckled. You already know me better than anyone else. I don't know. What are your hopes and dreams? What do you want to do when you grow up? This is gonna sound really lame, but I don't know.
I've never had to think about it before. My parents and now my father have always had these expectations for me. Perfect model, perfect son, perfect student. He sighed. It wasn't until we had that career expo that I realized that I have no idea what I should do. All my dreams are kind of small and lame compared to everyone else's, you know? Alya has a blog and wants to be a journalist. Nino wants to be a DJ. And you want to be a designer. And you're all really good at what you want to do.
Adrien, do you remember what you told me when I said my dates with Luca were just small dreams? He blinked and swallowed. He really didn't want to think about her dating Luca, not when she was all he could think about. Not when the thought of her walking away when this was over made him sick and sad and hurt. Even more so than when Ladybug had thrown him into a trash can. Except this time destroying billboards wouldn't solve his problem. I can't say that I do. Her smile was warm, crooked, and the sweetest thing he had ever seen. You said there is nothing wrong with small dreams if they're yours. So what are they? I care about you and I would like to know. That is, if you want to tell me. He blushed. I want to help people. I'm not sure how. And I want to have someone to love who loves me back. I want to have a family someday. I want to be a good dad, not just... He paused, even now unable to speak ill of his only remaining parent. I would like someone to want me for me. There was a silence for a long while, and then Marinette frowned. Oh, that's not fair, she declared angrily. He blinked. What's not fair? She glowered at the screen, wrinkling her nose in a way that would have been adorable if she hadn't looked ready to chew metal and spit nails. You need a hug and I can't get to you easily. He laughed loud and long, the silliness easing the tension in her chest. What are you going to do, sweet? Tear down the walls of my prison with your bare hands? Do you want me to? She smirked at his quip, and even through the screen it hit him like a kuma to the chest. His heart flipped over and his cheeks burned. Yes, his mind screamed. I'll be packed in 10 minutes and we can run away. How do you feel about tropical islands? Care to get married on one? Would you mind a little black cat that stinks of cheese is our ring bearer? Instead, he smirked back and wriggled his eyebrows. Would you if I asked? Without thinking twice, I would do anything to make you smile, she said seriously. It might take me an hour or so, but I could do it. They stared at each other for a long moment before they both fell into a fit of giggles. It's crazy, right? Like I'm some sort of trapped Disney princess and you're an adorable clumsy knight. Hey, you don't call me your everyday ladybug for nothing, you know, she replied with a laugh and then stopped. Wait, did you just call me adorable? Yeah, I did. But why? Because you are adorable. Especially when you're angry about something or really focused. You scrunch up your face and your nose wrinkles up. It's cute. She blushed a dozen shades of pink. Thanks, she squeaked. You're adorable too. He waved off the compliment. Nah, that's just a tiredness talking. Watch it, mud. I have an entire box of embroidery thread with your name on it if you don't start talking better about yourself. He chuckled. Why? Having people swap me like an akuma is worth it if I get to see you all fired up like this, Marinette. She flopped her face first onto her bed, so all he could see was the top of her head. She muffled some sort of high-pitched noise into her mattress. What was that, my sweet? He cooed, thrilled to see the tips of her ears turn pink. She lifted her head just long enough to mutter, "You're going to be the death of me." He couldn't help but laugh, and the laughter continued until they both drifted off with the phone still on, her gentle breathing a lullaby that lulled him to sleep. Thank you for listening to part 14 of The Truth Behind the Lie. I mean, seriously, if that's not a date, I don't know what is. So make sure you comment down below. Tell me what you think of this part. And if you don't know what to say, just put phone date. I'm claiming it. Make sure you smash that like button. Show me some love. Show Shika some love. And make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on part 15, which will be coming soon, and other one-shots and other series that are happening at the moment. And I hope you are good, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.